Hello, I'm Frank.
I'm David.
Welcome to our quest to find out what our favorite movie of all time is, at least up until this point. Obviously, we will see other movies that haven't come out yet, or others that have come out and we just haven't seen.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And what are we doing on this quest, Frank? Can you explain it to us a little bit more? What's going on?
So on this quest, we decided we wanted to do some kind of like, what's our favorite movie?
Exactly.
But being the people,
core.
yeah, we really want to get to the core though. We
Yeah.
really want to whittle it down, and being the people that we are, and always adding extra rules to everything,
Yeah.
and really making it hard on ourselves to
Yeah.
do things.
Yeah.
If we really want to boil it down to
Creating
it.
obstacles
Yeah.
for ourselves to overcome.
I will
Yes.
overcome those obstacles because
We'll
I
get over
put them up.
Oh, jeez.
It's gonna get a little complicated.
Okay, yeah.
Sometimes we might get a little bit ridiculous, but I mean, we are going at the subgenres, and
Mhm.
maybe sometimes at the subgenres of subgenres.
Yeah.
And if you could think of a specific subgenre, comment below or
Yeah,
shoot
it's,
us an email at wedidapodcast@gmail.com and include like, I don't know, a funny picture or something.
Yeah, hit it up. We already previously did disaster movies. That was just on the podcast. Now that we're delving?
Is it the V right after the
I don't know.
D? Is it developing?
Let's say diving. Now that we're diving into videos, we're moving this over to that area. So we're not gonna mad at you. And today, and you already know this because you clicked on it. Today we're doing B horror movies.
Were you not sure if it was a horror movie?
No, I was gonna say horror B movies again. No, B horror movies. Not about bees, but the letter B dash horror movies.
Yes. And we didn't have the discussion
Yeah,
of what
we didn't.
defines a B movie
Mm-mm.
before we decided and did our research and
That's
stuff.
too easy.
It's a discussion
It's
we
too
had
easy.
maybe like 15-20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But essentially like the bare bones definition, because we did a quick little Google, if you will, is it was a movie that was the second on the bill. So it's essentially a little bit more low budget. These movies often have like fun with it. They have like a goofy nature. Usually they fall into the categories of horror, sci-fi.
Yeah,
thrillers.
typically those are the big ones.
But
Yeah.
there's other movies that have like pulled off the whole B feel.
The room.
Obviously I'm gonna shoehorn some stuff into it because I like to argue.
Okay, interesting.
So
I'm down.
we'll have some fun
I'm down
with
to see
that.
what's going on here.
But I believe you are going first. So what you got
I
for
am.
us today?
Yeah.
David?
So yeah, these are secret to each other. We also have some nice collectibles hiding these movies from an unnamed television show. Everyone ready for this? Bum bum bum. I filled this thing with water. I usually never do that. Here is my runner-up. So we're gonna do runner-up and top. My runner-up is Friday the 13th, Part 6. Jason Lives.
I couldn't tell what it was from the back of the case, and now knowing what it is, it makes sense to
perfect
me
sense,
that
yeah.
I couldn't
But
guess
you
it.
couldn't tell.
Yeah.
You haven't seen any Friday movie, right?
I mean, I've seen the first and maybe the second Friday,
Yeah.
and then
Friday
probably
After Next.
yeah, Friday After Next. I've definitely seen it, and I totally just like walked into it because it felt so natural.
Yeah.
That was fun, David. Thanks
Thanks.
you for that.
That's what I do.
And Freddy, I feel like I've seen Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah,
and-
Freddy vs. Jason's not
and maybe
very
like bits of Jason X.
good. Okay, Jason X is also bad.
Yeah.
Quickly before we get into this though, I've just stumbled upon something that would be great. But if they ever do make another Friday movie, make it a crossover with Friday the 13th. Like next Friday the 13th. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Where those guys are getting killed by Jason. That's how you
Oh,
end that series.
My goodness.
Well, anyways, on a more not serious
Why
note
don't you
at
get
all.
those characters out to the woods? It'd be so fun.
That's what
It'd
I'm
be
saying.
a whole lot of
I'm
fun.
saying that you can
We should
it
write the
out.
script.
Oh my
Let's pitch it, dude.
gosh. Let's pitch it.
Hey,
All
should
right.
we stop recording and do this right now?
We're done. I played Friday the 13th the game
Good game.
last year in the summer. I got super hooked. I've always known who Jason is, you know what I mean? But I had never really seen any of the movies. At least I
You
don't
were
think any of them.
acquaintances, but now you feel more as if
Yeah.
you're friends.
And well, what happened was after playing the game, I was like, well, you know what? This game's got a lot of references, obviously, to the movie. So I went and I watched all of them. And for the most part, they're pretty solid. Like they go off the deep end like once it hits the 1980s, pretty much, or 80s, sorry, the 1990s. Everything goes downhill after that. This one in particular, though, it's not B movie in budget, but it's B movie at heart. It's got that thick layer of cheese. If you watch the beginning of it, basically Jason was killed in 2 movies prior in part 4. In this one, Tommy Jarvis, who's the one who kills him as an adult, he like leaves the mental institution he was in and he drives to this like rainy cemetery, digs up Jason because he's been having these nightmares, and he gets this metal fence post and stabs Jason.
Yeah.
And then lightning strikes the fence post and brings him back to life. And from then on, Jason's like an unstoppable killing
All
zombie.
he had to do was not put a fence
Yeah.
post in Jason's
Or
chest.
and he had gasoline. He could just burn the whole thing.
That would've been a good
You know what I
idea.
mean? I don't know why he thought to step, but he was getting upset. Anyways, the point is, in this movie, the reason what makes this one a B movie, I think even greater than all the other Friday the 13th, is it takes a more obviously comedic approach. There's some kills in that movie. There's one where Jason throws this person's he throws him into a tree, and then his head hits the tree, and it leaves like a smiley face imprint in the tree.
Nice.
It's awful. I love the series because it's just about like teenagers getting killed, and every movie it's like some weird creative way they do it in. It's just always entertaining. But in this movie,
There are some really in
Yeah.
just the game. I haven't seen a whole bunch
Oh,
of Jason
yeah.
movies, but in the game there are some beautiful kills.
there's some beautiful kills, and most of them are inspired by the movies, which is really cool when you watch them like backwards. I guess most people who played the game probably were fans of the movie. Well, maybe not anymore. There's a lot of kids playing. Anyways, I'm getting a little off topic. The point is that Jason is like, in this one you root for him for sure. Whereas before it was like he was the crazy maniac. Like in the first one, Kevin Bacon's there, and spoiler alert, it's not even Jason, it's his mom. But it's like in this one, you're there to see Jason. You're there to see him like crush some people, and the movie is filmed and is portrayed that way. There's also
Nice.
all these fourth wall breaks. There's like these kids who are like talking to the camera. It's like really weird stuff. But it makes for a good little B movie experience. And if you haven't seen Friday the 13th, you probably don't need to watch all of them, but watch like one. Oof, I don't know. I don't want to start numbering them because that's going to be a whole nother thing. 6 is definitely one you want to watch though, for sure. It's got a lot of style to it, and Jason's just like insane in this movie. He's
And that's
insane
kind of
to
like
bring.
at the heart, like what the soul of a B movie is. It's like fun.
Yeah,
A lot of
fun.
watching
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It's gross. It's got some gory stuff, but it's fun, and that's a big part of B horror movies, I think, for sure.
Beautiful.
Yeah, man. Well, that's all I got to say about Friday the 13th.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
What you got up here?
here we go for my runner-up today. Let's see, which way does this open, David? Oh, fantastic.
Oh yeah, pulls at the top.
Let's see.
I'm
That's
curious.
Gonna
I'm
be
not gonna-
this. Interesting.
I don't know how Michelle did this. So apparently both these movies we didn't own. And Michelle's gotten creative in the props department and has made something for us.
Props to Michelle on the
Oh,
props.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Okay, this is extra fun for me because the movie that I chose for my runner-up is Devil's Pass. And in doing some research, this movie also came up, so I can understand where the confusion came up.
Interesting.
But she just did and I didn't figure out how to pronounce this word.
Oitlan?
The
Oitlan?
Dyatlov Pass incident. Yeah, and I'm gonna stumble over it again because it's a part of my notes. But yeah, Devil's Pass. It was released in theaters, not in America. It was directed by Rennie Harlan, who actually directed Die Hard 2.
Okay.
He directed
Die Harder?
Yeah, Die Harder. Cliffhanger, Deep Blue Sea.
Okay.
And it was written by Vikram Wheat, who wrote on Stuff. The very first credit on IMDb was Miscellaneous Crew.
Oh, wow.
And this movie
Sorry,
stars.
dude.
Yeah, this movie
Okay.
stars some people who did other things.
Okay.
It's one of
Yeah.
those movies.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
one of the parts that I kind of use to qualify this as a B movie.
Yeah, that's a big part of
Like
B
the
movie.
budget's
Unknown
not huge.
actors,
There's
too.
just these
Yeah.
unknown actors, so it just
Yeah.
feels like you're watching these people. This movie's about 5 college students, and they go up into these mountains in Russia. That's named after. They're called it's called the Dyatlov Pass.
Okay.
That's how you
That's
spell
why
it
it
right
looks
here.
super Russian.
Yeah, that's why it looks super Russian.
Yeah.
It's named after one of the guys from the group. It's the reason they're going to this place
Okay.
is to investigate this incident that happened, the Dyatlov Pass
Okay.
incident. There was this group of 9 ski hikers that went up to this mountain range in 1959. That all 9 members of that group died.
Okay.
They were an experienced group. They have done stuff like this many times. The evidence shows that some unknown event or factor or group of factors caused these hikers to literally tear themselves out of their tents, tear their way out of their tents, completely unprepared for the harsh weather, the crazy environment that they were in.
Okay.
They all ran off in a couple scattered directions. Where are the quick little stats here? Out of the 9 of them, 6 of them died from hypothermia.
Okay.
The other 3 died from like trauma. One of them had a fractured skull, and 2 of them had major chest fractures that were like the cause of death.
Okay.
These factors have never been explained. They never found a reason for like what caused this experienced group of like hikers and travelers. That's one of the reasons I really like this movie, because I had heard of this incident before.
Yeah.
Just like to like dig on the dig on the internet for weird things. And I was like, ooh, like I'm totally watching this.
Okay.
And the movie, it's not like really campy. It's got like decent CGI. They don't like beat it to death.
Okay.
But the movie feels really good and it's a lot of fun. I categorized it as a B movie because, I mean, I feel like I watched it on Netflix, but I mean, you guys have never heard of it. I don't think I've ever asked
like
somebody, have you seen The Devil's Pass? And they were like, yeah, totally.
Interesting.
But it is a fun watch, like as a horror movie.
And I don't want to spoil it, but is it like a monster or something in the movie? I'm assuming it is. Or it's some kind of entity or something, or.
So there's like,
Interesting.
stuff going on.
Yeah.
And like, one of my favorite parts of the movie is actually like the end and the twist. Cause like, it's fun. They go up there, there's these 5 hikers, and then like, of course, like weird stuff starts happening.
Yeah.
Everybody starts getting a little bit creeped out. And they end up like, events play out that are like exactly what happened to these 9 hikers in 1959. And there's like a big twist. It gets like a little like sci-fi without giving too much away. Fun watch. I definitely like, I've watched it maybe 2 or 3 times. And it's a good watch. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, that is Devil's Pass.
I'll have to check that out, man. That sounds pretty cool. Just your description kind of reminds me of like a Donner Party kind of thing.
Yeah, it has that feeling because it's like group lost
desperation
out
and like. And this the thing about them tearing out of their tents, it sounds like hypothermia, like that thing you go like crazy and you have to take all your clothes off because you get too hot. I don't know.
But like the thing is, only 6 of them died of hypothermia.
So what happened to the other ones?
Why does one of them have a skull fracture and the other 2 have chest fractures? But they're just dead in the snow. They're not like falling on rocks or anything.
Weird. Okay. Yeah, I'm down to check this out. That sounds
crazy.
Really cool.
And also just look into the incident. That's a fun read.
Yeah. Russia. It's intense, everybody.
Purely of Russia.
It says, stop Napoleon. Stopped Hitler. Just saying. Okay, well, here's my number 1, man. And to be honest, there's a bunch of extra stuff involved here.
Interesting.
As soon as we decided we were doing B-horror movies, I instantly knew there was no other choice but Evil Dead 2 for me.
Makes sense.
And because I picked Evil Dead 2, I feel like I got to start this whole thing and go over it real quick. So...
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, right. Obviously, there's Evil Dead 1, right? Evil Dead 1's the first one. Yeah, let's get that way. I'm just gonna like toss these down or something. So Evil Dead 1 takes itself very seriously. Have you seen any of these movies?
I've seen Evil Dead 1.
Like
I think that's the only one I've seen.
The original ones.
And some of like the series.
It's super low budget, but it's like I said, it takes itself seriously. It's very dark. It's not comedic, which I think is what the series is known for. And it is very enjoyable. Overall, the story is it's Ash, who's this character. He's kind of like the unlikely hero. He's borderline just total douche, but he's likable,
very confident in himself.
Very confident in himself. This is the beginning of that character. That character's not really in Evil Dead 1. At the end of this movie, because he's fighting the Necronomicon the whole time, the Book of the Dead, who's like creating all these evil entities, and there is evil that chases him. At the end of the movie, he gets sucked through a time hole into like the 1300s or something. And then the final of this trilogy is Army of Darkness, which is just as cheesy, but it's like medieval. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like the same thing, but now he's out of place. In this movie, he chops his hand off because his hand turns evil, and it makes an evil version of him and everything.
If your hand turns evil, you gotta chop it right off.
Chops it off with a chainsaw, and then like in this one, I mean, he's already got the chainsaw on his arm, but now he's back with knights and stuff. It's just a really nice juxtaposition. Just saying. Then Evil Dead was like gone for a while. There was Evil Dead the remake, which to be honest is probably the best thing you could do with a remake. You just like take it in a different tone.
We went to go see it in theaters, and I feel like a lot of the times I go to a horror movie and I leave like disappointed because I didn't really feel anything. I didn't feel
You
anything.
didn't feel that
Evil,
intensity.
Evil Dead does a really good job of making you feel.
Yeah.
It's like it gets your heart pumping.
For sure. I mean, there was a scene they showed in the trailer that probably everyone who was waiting for that movie saw. This like girl cutting her tongue in half with a knife.
We all knew it was coming.
We all knew it was coming.
expecting
It was still just as uncomfortable.
My
in the theater.
goodness, yeah. A lot of moving around in your seat.
Like, oh
Good
yeah,
stuff.
squirming for sure.
Good
That's
stuff.
Evil Dead. Evil Dead also had like a series of games and a long wait. Oh no, Ash, I felt like I just had to bring them up. They're PS2 games. There's one more for Dreamcast I don't have. These are actually really like they're not awesome, but they're pretty good considering it's just like adaptation of an 80s horror movie. Like you wouldn't think it would be like that. Although Thing also has a seriously good game, which is also super random. But anyways, and now of course Evil Dead's back. We haven't seen this. Ash vs. Evil Dead. This is season 1, 2, 3. It's amazing. It's almost perfect. Everything characters and story takes off exactly like it keeps everything in line. And it's just great. Ash's character still works as like a 60-year-old man. Like it works even better. It's really good.
He aged like a fine wine.
For sure.
Like, bleaching wine, but for some reason, it ages like, what? That's a really nice wine.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
There's almost no rules though in Evil Dead. It's like anything can happen pretty much. Like the hand can get taken over, yourself can get taken over. There's people who come back from life. There's these tricks played in your mind. It's just pure
Evil kind of
evil.
plays it by ear.
Yeah. And a great thing that they do in here, and it like keeps it going through all the series, is they do this really cool shot with like the camera moving.
Oh, that shot
Really-
is so awesome to watch. Yeah,
And it's like
and they
super
nailed it
sped
in the
up.
remake too.
Yeah. Evil Dead 2 is just it's funny. It's got humor. The humor is very like slapstick. In a weird way, it's kind of like Looney Tunes humor is how I've always thought of it.
I could see
Like
that.
the bomb blowing up and the duckbill being on the back of your head. It's
Mhm.
very much that. So if you're not into like somewhat immature humor, you might not dig it. It's super disgusting. It's so gross, but that's the best part. There's great stop motion animation. There's great practical effects. There's gallons and gallons and gallons of blood. It's
like
just
solid horror points.
Yeah.
Like it's a really
Yeah.
good horror series. And I was wondering what was taking you so long when you were pulling your movies.
Yeah,
I was like,
I was
it's
like,
this guy.
oh,
It's his collection.
mm.
It's alphabetized. He should know where everything is.
yeah.
But I'm really glad you did it that way because it really is. It's not like a standalone
Yeah,
thing. It's part
yeah.
of this huge.
It's part of a huge story, but this I feel like is the start. And if you really want to, like, say you're hesitant to watch old movies, maybe you don't like the way old effects look, skip the first one then. Just start on 2. The first one is great, but watch this one first, and if you like it, go back and watch that. You'll have a better mindset. But if you watch Evil Dead 1 and then think that that's what Evil Dead is, it's really not. This is what Evil Dead is for sure. What you got, man? What's this top one?
So my winner
Yeah,
today.
and it's a PS2 game.
Yes. What game is this?
Dog's Life?
Have you
Which-
played this?
Yeah, I have. It's actually like a pretty decent little like it's like a kid's game for sure.
And you're just a dog?
you're a dog and
Some of those dogs are pretty cute though.
all the dogs have different powers too, and you have like sense of vision. You can see the world and smells. It's like a really interesting take for this idea.
How many players is it?
It's just one.
One player.
But
Ah, it's not gonna
alright.
make it.
It's not gonna make it to couch combo. No, it's not. No, it's
All right,
not.
so my ultimate pick today for the B horror movies
Okay.
is Dog Soldier.
Dog Soldier.
Yeah, Dog Soldiers, plural. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Check it out. Dog Soldiers. This movie came out in 2002. This is another European release. Didn't have a U.S. release in theaters.
Yeah. Frank
pretty-
is so hip. His B movies have to be from Europe. I'm just saying.
Oh, really? Just like it's not like a hip thing. I like. Whoa, almost. I feel like now that I'm gonna say it out loud, it's gonna sound hip because like the reason I saw this movie was because we rented it at Hollywood Video.
Oh, wow.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Yeah, all gone. But yeah, we rented it randomly at Hollywood Video. We were looking for a movie to watch like with the family movie night.
Yeah.
I ended up renting this movie from Hollywood Video several times, like over the years.
Oh, okay.
before
One
it
of
died.
those. I've had those.
I really enjoyed this movie. Dog Soldiers is about this group of Irish. Sorry, guys. Let's see. Scottish commandos
Racist.
that are out on a training exercise. They're like out in the wilderness,
Mhm.
in a glen, if you will.
Ooh.
So they're out there doing their little exercises, and suddenly they're being hunted. They're being hunted, David.
By
The
dogs?
soldiers are being hunted by like, who knows? At first they're kind of hard
Oh,
to see.
okay.
Who
Some
knows
sort
what
of-
these things are?
Are they dogs?
Yes. Werewolves. This is a movie.
Oh.
It starts off army movie.
Okay.
So you're like, yeah, we're watching this army
Alright,
movie.
hey, yeah.
It has like the opening. It has like the typical like horror movie opening with just like some completely unrelated people. It's like a father and
Oh, okay.
or it's like I think it's a couple like out camping.
It's a bunch of red shirts. They're
Yeah,
about
yeah,
to get
just some red
murdered.
shirts. They're
Yeah.
out camping. They're having a good time having this conversation. Boom, they get attacked. Cut to these commandos. It's like an army movie. Or like boom, things are going on. Then these guys get hunted. They're running through. They end up running into some lady in an SUV.
Okay.
She like lives in these woods. She takes them back to the house. They're still getting chased. They start getting peeks of these things. One of the guys gets injured, but it's like these werewolves.
Okay.
And like they take on the idea that like werewolves, if they were in a group, they would hunt as like a pack. You know what I mean?
I mean,
So
that makes
it's like,
sense.
it's like this group of soldiers versus the insurgent werewolves, and they're held up in this place. They're going back and forth. There
Wow.
are some like recognizable actors in this movie. Kevin McKidd, who's from Train Spotting, Kingdom of Heaven, Hannibal Rising, and Grey's Anatomy. He's like one of the newer additions. He's the gentleman with the red hair.
I've never seen Grey's. I know you're a huge fan. I've never seen it.
I've seen a good amount of Grey's Anatomy. Also Liam Cunningham. That ring a bell to you?
It sounds really familiar.
He's Sir Davos.
Oh,
And
Sir
he's
Davos.
like the main
Okay.
commander, like trying to whip these guys into shape.
Wait, just give me a second. Sir Davos is the one not with grayscale.
No, yeah, he's not the one with grayscale.
Sir Davos is the
He's
one
the hand of the queen to Khaleesi.
to Khaleesi. Okay. Who doesn't have grayscale.
Oh no, wait. Yeah, who
That is
doesn't
the
have
one.
grayscale?
Wait.
The one who doesn't have grayscale.
Okay, no, I understand now.
Yeah.
There's too many names in Game of Thrones, everybody.
He's the smuggler.
I'm just saying, I'm not ashamed to say it. Too much going on in Game of Thrones. Bring it in, everybody. Of course, now they're all
Luckily enough, yeah, people just keep dying.
Yeah, that's really what the plan was all along. By the end, you know exactly who's left.
You need a lot of people to kill for that big finale.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, super fun movie. I qualified it as a B movie because it didn't have a super huge budget.
Okay.
It didn't have a big release. It hits the like horror formula super hard. It has all the foreshadowing moments. There's like in the very like beginnings, the commando is trying to make a point. And he wants one of the guys to kill a dog. He's like, I can't kill this dog. And it's like, oh, you're gonna have to kill dogs later, though, dude.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to kill the dogs later.
Yeah.
They're all like taking a rest, and it's like a camp kind of scene. They're all sitting around, and one of the guys is telling like a spooky story. Like there's this legend in this area. They say there were these brutal attacks, and they were never explained. Nobody ever got caught, and people just keep disappearing. And the legends were true all along. But that's come together as a squad and fight their way out of there. It's a lot of fun. There's like little laughs. They hit dumb little jokes and stuff. There was one that made me laugh. I was like watching it earlier while I was doing notes and stuff. You can watch it on YouTube for free. Check it out.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't get much
but
better
yeah,
than that.
It's
Just finish this video first, and then go.
It's
click
just
on Dog
really
Soldiers.
a whole lot of fun. I was wondering. Sometimes you watch a movie you haven't seen in years, and you're like, oh, it's gonna disappoint you.
Oh yeah.
But I was over here
Yeah,
chuckling,
yeah.
having a good old time. My brother's 3 years younger than me. I brought it up to him, and he got just as excited as I am about this
Wow,
movie.
cool,
He still remembers
man.
it as good as I do. But yeah, Dog Soldiers, watch it.
Yes, dude. I'm excited that you picked some like relatively unknown movies. I feel like I picked two very recognizable franchises.
If you've seen Dog Soldiers or Devil's Pass, let me know what
Yeah.
you think. Let us know what your favorite B horror movie is.
Yeah.
Like if you have a genre or subgenre request or suggestion, feel free to shoot it in the comments below. Let's get involved. Let's
Yeah.
get to know each other a little bit.
Let's do it. Talk to us. Send us something. And we have a new email now. It's davidandfrankandbeans@gmail.com if you want to send any of that stuff. I mean, you can still send it to wedidapodcast@gmail.com. I'll check both of them.
And you know what? Send whatever you want there.
Yeah. Send anything.
Anything.
Recipe for cupcakes. I'm down.
Well, thanks for joining us today. You have yourself a good one.